Soulwind TV presents.
Faith and Hope with Sweet Tea and Sass, encouraging couples to reconnect with God and with each other so they can live their happily ever after too.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Sweet Tea
and Sass.
This week's episode is going to be more focused on Elizabeth. And now that we have a new baby in our life, because last episode we were talking about our little brown-eyed girl and how she rocked our world. And this episode we're going to be dealing of
the desires of my heart,
the difficulties of being a mom and having a new child at home. And this week's Bible verse is one that I'm sure a lot of you know, the Proverbs 31 woman, but especially the verses 27 and 28. She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Of course, you've never been idle. And her children arise and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her.
What is idle?
I don't know.
I don't have that setting on my gear shift.
No,
my motor doesn't idle.
It's either parked or go.
Yeah, it's either asleep or go.
I don't even think you have an off switch.
Yeah, because I just kind of pass out when I stop. That's about it.
So, like I said, this episode is about learning to deal with an infant and having the desire.
Well, I kind of knew how to deal with an infant.
I'd
been dealing with infants since I was a child.
This one is yours, though.
Yeah, this one was mine. She was mine, but she was her daddy's girl. So when Daddy got home from work, she was all about Daddy.
But this episode's focusing on you and wanting to
stay home with her.
Yeah.
Because the whole time I was pregnant, I was home because I was laid off, like I told you in the last episode, because of the economy. The economy had gotten better, but I had used all of my unemployment while I was pregnant. So the day that she was born was when my unemployment ran out. So I had been saying the entire time I was pregnant, I don't like this staying at home thing. I don't like being at home. I gotta have something to do. I can't stay at home. I'm gonna go back to work. We're gonna have to find daycare. Can't do it. They brought that baby in that night at midnight and they put her in my arms. And I looked at him and I said, don't make me go back to work. I can't leave her with anybody else.
Yep. Of course, today it's a lot easier with computers and everything else, being able to work from home and stay at home with your kids and still draw a paycheck and that kind of stuff. But
yeah, I would have done that with the computer, and that wasn't an option. We didn't have the internet, and we didn't have cell phones, and we didn't have all those luxuries, and we didn't have laptops. Computers were it took a whole room to house a computer at that point in time. So, and they were mega expensive.
Oh, goodness, excuse me.
I just wanted to stay at home, but we managed to lean on our savings and juggle bills and do what we had to do. And she was born in July, and so that was the busy time at the mechanic shop he was working at.
Yep.
And so we were able to make it for about 10 months. But by about 8 months, we were getting hungry. We didn't have any money. It was the middle of winter, and business at the mechanic shop was slow, and he only got minimum wage for the hours that he was there, because there wasn't cars coming in for him to work on and get commission on,
and they weren't offering overtime, and
there was no overtime, and it was just pretty bad. We had to borrow money to pay the bills, and it was getting pretty bad. So it was down to where I was going to have to get a job. So I found a little tiny daycare out in the country where we lived, and two little old grandmas that kept the babies, and there was only two babies in there, two grandmas. So Megan was going to make the third baby. So I convinced myself it would be okay. And I found a job at a pharmacy at a hospital, and I started back to work. And I I tried to work. I tried to keep going, and I dropped her off, and she was fine. She was happy and playful and didn't have any problems. Me, on the other hand,
Yeah.
I cried all the way to work. I cried all the way home. I cried all through lunch every day. I just wanted to be at home with my baby. And I just needed to find a way to be at home with my baby. It was just miserable. I hated it. I hated leaving her. I hated being away from her. I just wanted to be with her. I mean, even if I could find a job that would pay me and I could take her with me, I just wanted desperately to be with her. And I know there are so many moms out there now. I mean, that have that deep seated feeling and need to want to stay home with their children and raise their children. And now, like I said, there's lots of things you can do. I mean, now I work from home a lot. Of course, my home is on wheels, so home can be wherever I need it to be. But, I with my speaking and writing books and doing collaboration books with other women and coaching, I can work from anywhere, and I can do that easily. And so it makes it easy for me to, take the afternoon, yesterday afternoon, and go watch my granddaughter so my daughter-in-law could run errands and do things she needed to do without having to get the baby in and out of the car. But I
We didn't
didn't
have that.
have those options then.
Well,
So
your mom was 5 minutes down the road, but she worked every day. Not that she would have watched her anyway.
no, even when she was off from work, I mean, they did watch Megan quite a bit when it was just Megan. It was when we started adding to Megan that they didn't want to watch it
Yeah.
anymore. She was fine when it was just the one, and it was Megan, and Megan looked so much like me and everything. She was okay with that. But when we had more, it became too inconvenient.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's another story for another day. But the desire of my heart was to be home with my kids. And I think that's true for a lot of women. A lot of women are happy working. And I think whatever you want to do, whatever you feel led and called to do, is okay. It's your decision, it's how God made you. But if you feel led to stay home with your kids,
That's
you
okay
need
too.
to figure out a way to do that. And there are many ways that you can do that now and be home with your kids and work from home. And I think honestly, I think that's the best way for everybody, because why have kids if you're going to let somebody else raise them?
Yep.
Why are you going to have them and not raise them yourself? And so my desire was to be at home with her. So I was looking for something that I could do from home, or something that I could do at night, so
After
that
I got home.
after he got home, so that I was there during the day and he was at home at night, so that they were at least with one of their parents. And I wasn't really looking for this business at the time. I was looking for sippy cups. And the best sippy cups on the market at the time were made by Tupperware. So I called the Tupperware distributor in Shreveport, the biggest town closest to us, and asked them, I said, I need to get some sippy cups. I have a 1 year old and I need sippy cups. Can I come by there and just buy some sippy cups? And they said, well, we need to have a sales rep call you, because we don't sell direct to customers. We have a sales rep call you. We'll have somebody close to you call you. So they had the lady that lived right down the road from my mom and dad call me. And she talked me into doing a Tupperware party. So I was like, well, okay, you can get your sippy cups for free. You don't even have to pay for them. At this point, free was a really good thing for us, because we were still digging out of this hole of the 10 months that I stayed home. and trying to get back on our feet and get caught up with everything
Pay for a baby.
and
Yeah.
pay for a baby and everything. So I was like, okay, well, I can get them for free. That's good. That's better. So I'll do that. So we set up a time for her to do a party, and she came out and did the party. And I had a lot of my friends came from church, and we had a great time. And I did a really good party. And then after it was over, she started talking to me about, well, all these sales we could convert to you, and you could become a salesperson, and you could do your own parties and have your own little business. And then, you could build it up where you could quit your job. Dang, I could quit my job. I could do these kind of parties like you just did here tonight with a bunch of women and make money, and I could be home during the day with my baby. I'm in. Where do I sign? And you had 3 of your friends say they were interested in parties. Those would be your parties. And so you would already have a start on your business. So I'm like, yeah, I'll talk to my husband, but I'm in. I'm all in. So I talked to him, and he's like, why not
Didn't
give
have
it a
to-
shot?
Didn't have to convince me.
No, he's like, if that's what you want to do, and that can get you not crying every day all the way to work and back and home with Megan, that's what I want too. So let's do it. Go for it. And I had been in sales. I had my first sales business when I was 13. I had to get my mom to fill out the paperwork because I was too young to even be in a sales business because I have always been an entrepreneur. I have entrepreneur DNA, and it runs in my whole family.
Yep.
And my grandmother was an entrepreneur. My great grandfather, my great great grandfather. It just runs in our DNA all the way back. And I think sometimes it's inbred in you, and sometimes it's just something that you have a desire for. And some people don't. Some people just like to go to work and get a check. Sweet Tea,
I.e. me.
he wants to go to work and get a check, and he never did have a desire to be in a business. I never had a desire to go get a check from somebody else. I want to make my own check, because then I can make it as big as I want or as little as I want. I can work as much as I want or as little as I want. And I can call the shots, because really at the bottom line is I want to call the shots. I want to be the boss. I'm the CEO. And that's where I'm at now. I'm the CEO, and I run the business, and that's my business, and I run it. And that's how I was then. I want to be at home, and I want to call the shots. And if I don't want to work on a Thursday night, I want to be able to not work on a Thursday night. So I signed up for Tupperware. And at first I started doing Tupperware on Tuesdays and Thursday nights after I had already worked a full day. So then I was not with my child all day and that night while he was home with her, so that I could get established.
That took about 6 months
I
to get established.
did that for about 6 months, and then I had to quit because some other things happened. We're not going to tell you about those today. We're going to wait and tell you about those later. But we had some other unexpected developments happen in your life, my life, our life. Altogether, our life kind of just went crazy, to say the least. And I just kept plugging away at my little Tupperware business, getting more clients, more parties, and I just kept working towards being able to quit that full-time job and be at home with my daughter. And I moved her to a couple of different daycare type places. I finally found one of the girls that went to church with us that stayed home with her 2 boys, and her husband was full-time Air Force, active duty Air Force. And I left Megan with her. And so that worked out much better. I felt better about that at least she was in somebody's home with 2 other children, and not in a daycare type situation or in a home care type situation where there were 6 or 8 kids and one old lady that was really mean, and I didn't like her, and it gave me a really bad feeling if I dropped her off there, because the daycare I originally put her in closed down because they didn't have enough business to stay open, and I had to move her around a couple times. And it was just torture. It was torture. So, mainly, moms, what I want to tell you, and dads, what I want to tell you is whatever your heart is telling you about your child and your home, follow your heart. Do what your heart is telling you.
Listen to your gut.
Listen to your gut, because that's the Holy Spirit leading you and telling you what is best for you, what is best for your child, what's best for your spouse, what's best for your family. And you need to follow that and do what the Holy Spirit is leading you to do. Because, it's everybody, different strokes for different folks. Different people, different things are right for different people. And it just wasn't a good fit for me. Daycare wasn't a good fit. I had been left in daycare, and it was very traumatic because I was with my grandmother full time until I was almost 6. And then my biological mother took me and dropped me off at daycare and just left me and didn't explain anything to me. And I felt abandoned, and I wanted to go back to my grandmother's, who at the time I thought was my mother, and I wanted to be with her on the family farm at home where I was used to. I hadn't even been left in the church nursery. Excuse me, my voice is going.
Drink over there.
Yep. And so it was a lot of the issues that I had leaving Megan at daycare were my issues. They weren't Megan's issues. It was my issues from my childhood that I still had not worked through and that I had to work through. But once I was able to start building up my little Tupperware business and get it to a point where I had a couple of people working under me, making sales and doing parties, and I was getting commission off of their sales, and I was starting to build up my sales, I was getting to the point where I was rolling and getting to a point where I could stay home with Megan, which was my goal. And you have to have goals. You have to, even if you stay home with your kids, you still need to have goals that you set for yourself, personal goals. I want to achieve this, or I want to read this many books this year, or I want to read one a month, or I want to listen to so many podcasts, or you need to have goals for yourself. You need to be improving yourself. You need to be gaining and learning. I am always learning. I'm always taking a class. I'm always reading. I'm always gaining knowledge. Even if I'm watching TV, I'm watching a informative show. I'm watching something that I'm learning from, because I don't just sit idle. That's just who I am. It's how God made me. It took me a long time to accept that. It took Sweet Tea a lot longer to accept
A whole lot longer.
because that's not how he is.
Nope.
He can sit for hours and play games on his phone or watch TV and just zone out. I can't. It's just not the way my brain functions. And so you need to learn, what kind of learner are you? How do you learn? And you can take a simple modality test and learn that. I am a visual learner. If I do a class, I need to take notes because I need to be able to see what they're saying. I can't just hear it and learn it. He's an auditory learner. He can hear it once and learn it.
Or do it once.
Or do it once, which is a tactile learner, and learn it, and he knows it. But I can't. I have to see it. So I have to write it down and see it. And so I learn that about yourself and figure out what it is you like. Do you like to read? Do you like to do puzzles? Do you like to watch videos? What is it? And improve yourself. Work on improving yourself. And then figure out for your family what's right for your family. Is part-time work right for your family? Is work for home right for your family? Is full-time work right for your family? What's right for your family? And try to strike a balance that works for both of you and your family, that makes everybody happy, or as happy as you can all be in the situation that you're in.
Can I chime in here?
Yes.
Even with all of this going on, and each of you are trying to figure out what you think is best for your family and for yourself and what you're doing, don't forget to communicate that with your spouse. Because if you decide to run off down the left-hand lane of a road and and don't talk to your spouse about it, they can take that as a form of I guess the word I would use is selfishness, or a neglect. They feel neglected because you didn't bother to talk to them or discuss with you what you were thinking or what direction you wanted to go.
Right.
And like she said a few minutes ago, there's some changes coming up in our next couple of stories.
That roller coaster is going to do this.
Yeah, it's no more a little bitty choppy roller coaster kiddie rides on. It's fixing to start doing some major climbs.
Mm-hmm.
But we had some serious discussions that were fixing to happen in our life that we didn't know were fixing to happen.
I'm fixing to do some major changes.
It's some stuff that without communication can destroy a marriage.
Yes.
And if you're in that situation in your marriage now, reach out to us.
Yes.
We can help you with coaching. We can do a reboot for you. We can do a yada program.
Just reach out.
Just reach out to us and let us know what's going on.
Message with you. We can text with you. We can just to have somebody to talk to and bounce some things off of.
Yes. You can find us on Facebook. You can find Elizabeth on all
Instagram,
LinkedIn, ElizabethClamon.com.
I'm on Twitter, but I don't get on there really because I don't really, Twitter's not my thing.
I'm on Facebook. You can find our webpage, theclamongroup.com. And through that, you can get to Married by Design, which is our coaching program.
You can just get to Married by Design on Facebook too.
Yep.
Just our Facebook page.
Yep.
And it's an open page. You can just join. You don't have to have any approval or answer any questions.
So reach out to us if you have questions concerning what's going on in your marriage.
Leave us comments. We always check our comments.
We're always looking at our comments. So please reach out. We'd love to get to know you guys. We'd love to chat with you guys.
Something you want us to cover or you want us to talk about, just let us know. We'd be happy to cover that subject. We'll take a detour from Sweet Tea and Sass's life and cover whatever you guys need us to cover or talk about.
Yep. So
this is not the all about us show.
Oh no, this is about helping y'all.
All about how to live happily ever after. We call ourselves hope dealers for married couples because we want to be hope dealers. We want to offer you hope and faith for your marriage. And we want to, be able to be that beacon when things get rough, when seas get rough and you're tossed and turned, and we want to be that beacon of hope.
And it seems like the more you try, the fuller the boat gets with all the water from the outside.
Yes. And you sometimes you think I'm going to sink.
Well, it never hurts to ask for help.
Yep. It
never hurts to reach out for a helping hand or a shoulder to cry on or
what do I do? We might not have the answer, but we can pray with you.
And we can find the answer for you. So until next time, folks, what's our next subject anyway?
Oh, our next subject is the only way up. The only way
up. The only way up.
The only way we're going to get up.
Like I said, we got some major changes coming.
That dip in that roller coaster is about to go woo.
So tune in next time to figure out what the way up is and where we go from here. It's been a joy to talk to y'all this week, and we love y'all. May God bless you and all that you do, and we look forward to talking to you again next week.
See you later.
Bye, y'all.